Hello everybody, live from AVADirect Studios. Welcome to this week's live stream. Now, as I'm sure some of you may have heard, Shannon Robb has decided to pursue other adventures outside of AVADirect. He will be sorely missed. We love him dearly, and we wish him all the best in everything that he does, professionally and in life.
Absolutely.
Yes. Speaking of which, we have a new guest this week. This here is Mr. Zachary Fanelly. Zack is one of our senior techs here at AVADirect, and you've probably seen a lot of the handcrafted hardline systems and some of the high-end workstations that got stacks upon stacks upon stacks.
Just about anything that's crazy. If it's crazy, I probably worked on it.
Yes, that's this guy. So Zack, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Mostly computers, cars, just typical man stuff.
I mean, you do have a Subaru.
Yeah.
That hasn't been vaped in.
True, but it does blow up just like every other one. In fact, I'm picking it up from the shop after work.
Okay, well, I mean, at least you don't have the attitude that comes with some people that own a Subaru, so you at least have that going for you, right?
I try not to.
No, you're a very nice lady.
So, go ahead and start off with Intel has just recently released their 660p NVMe SSD, which is actually pretty impressive. Only 20 cents per gig.
Holy poop.
Yeah. Its read speeds are 1,500 megabytes a second, writes of 1,000 megabytes a second with 220K, 4K read and write IOPS.
I mean, this sounds like that this is the exact leap forward we needed to make to get moving parts drives out and flash storage in is like the industry standard in all facets.
Absolutely. I mean, this is half the price of a SATA SSD that I bought.
What's a
SATA? Year ago.
What's a SATA?
Exactly. It makes it pretty much irrelevant. I was really surprised to see the price point of this.
I mean, and not to mention, like, if you look at the stats, they say that the drive doesn't really perform better than any of the Samsung SSDs, especially in like sequential and random read and writes.
Well, I wouldn't expect it to at this price, but it makes you question whether or not you want to go with a traditional drive at this price point. And I've seen a lot of customers exclusively buy just an NVMe drive in their system, and I think we're going to see even more of that with a drive at this price point.
Sure, which kind of also now takes away the concern of people that want to go with the small form factor systems, and there's like no base storage, because a lot of people aren't really going toward the moving hard disk storage to where you have a small form factor system because they need that footprint, but you have to deal with the fact that the system is made larger because they had to add the 3.5-inch base to it. And it just doesn't really matter anymore. It's just that concern is gone because you just pop in an M.2 and call it a day.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, this is definitely going to move your SATA SSDs towards what hard drives are currently playing a role in, just storage.
Right. Yeah, and like Mutation666 said on YouTube, it's a Samsung killer. Absolutely, hands down. I mean, because people are going with Samsung because it's a trusted brand, which is, you got Intel, which is a trusted brand. And they were kind of sort of in a balance between the cheapest and highest performance. But for people like us, I'm a specification snob. Like, I have an SSD that goes this fast, and that's great, but practically why?
I don't care either, as long as it performs well, and this is definitely a drive that can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I have my friggin' Steam library on a 2 terabyte SSD for really no logical reason, but I have it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is what it is. One thing to note about the drives, though, however, is that once you start to fill up the cache on these, the performance, gone. However, that's only in the event that you're writing large file after large file, like sequentially back to back.
How large is the cache on this drive?
I mean, that is a great question. That is a great question, and I don't know how to answer that.
I thought you had it in your notes.
Nope, have none of that. Only kind of the bullet points of like what people would actually care about, and then you got Zack here that's like, I actually care about that specification.
Hey, you got me interested.
I'm not buying it anymore because I don't know how big the cache is. Jeez. Wow. So, I mean, there's that. Asus, however, in other news, Asus has decided to start updating and adding support for 9th gen processors. Should also note, though, that it's not just Asus. You have Gigabyte, you have MSI. The bigger named motherboard manufacturers that are all really updating it. So
Yeah, they're definitely all pushing their updates, and its release is definitely got to be around the corner. This stuff doesn't happen until usually a few weeks prior.
this is true. Real quick, Sean wants to know ASL, and he says hello.
Oh, hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean. CPUs were thought to be announced supposedly within the upcoming weeks, right?
Right.
No hard release date as of yet. So, I mean, this is kind of the telltale sign that board manufacturers are starting to gear up for what is to come.
Right.
Right? Yes, no? And it's going to be provided through BIOS updates, typically. Now, my question is this kind of what you think is going to keep happening? Do you think Intel is going to allow people to stretch their value per dollar in this fashion, or do you think that inevitably we're going to get to that point relatively soon that a new board and socket and chipset's going to come out and there's no option?
Well, I mean, they're definitely going to push something on their new boards that are going to make you want the new boards. I mean, it's what they do with every new product release. It's necessary. It's how you make money.
Yeah.
So, but until the product's actually released, we're not going to know for sure what all the features are.
Right.
They haven't really formally stated any of it yet.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
When we have more news that we can actually release, if at all, obviously we'll let you know. But for the meantime, it's in the pipeline. And as Brooke has been so kind to let us all know, the 660p has static SLC cache at 6 GB, 12 GB, and 24 GB, depending upon the SSD capacity.
Thanks, Brooke.
Yes. Job well done. Also, with the refresh of these boards and the updates, it does not just include updates and support for the 9th gen CPUs, it's also going to give minor improvements.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't really mean anything to me until we get some sort of concrete, like, what is that improvement?
Right, it's just a vague, like, we're doing a thing, kind of like PUBG had the Fix PUBG campaign now, where it's like we're fixing stuff. There are fixes. Here's the roadmap. At least PUBG had that roadmap in place, but these board manufacturers decided that they're just going to keep it as generic as possible, which is this is what they do to protect themselves for one reason or another, or just to kind of leave themselves open to fix or not fix things. We don't know. Now, does this also mean that these 300 series boards are going to stay a while? Is this going to be other than the point that I made, that is this going to be kind of a growing theme for Intel, where they're going to just support current sockets? Is this proof that the 300 boards will be here well into next year, or are they just trying to buy themselves time because of the whole 10 nanometer kerfuffle they're running into?
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to make the boards stick around any more or less, because we've seen with both Intel and AMD support for previous generation boards, and it doesn't necessarily make them stick around much longer. You may see people build new systems with them for a couple months, but that's about it. It's more so for the people that already have the hardware and just want to upgrade their processors.
Okay, well, I mean, that's reasonable. Thanks, Intel, for doing a thing. It's awfully nice of you. A couple of questions we got here. We have Tar Heels Gaming on YouTube. Do we know any good budget SSDs? Yeah, that Intel one.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I couldn't recommend anything other than the Intel SSD we just covered.
Intel is good, other than the 660p. You also have Crucial. They make great budget SSDs. Samsung did have a line of budget SSDs, which they don't really have anymore. Their focus is more or less on the performance aspect of M.2 SSDs. So yeah, Intel and Crucial are going to be the top two that I feel. And Mutation666 from YouTube asks, does Intel offer a migration tool like Samsung? If so, that'd be really rough for them. But I mean, they used to back in the day. I remember before SSDs. Yeah. Remember before Intel had integrated trim function?
Right.
They had a utility that was just for trim.
Yeah.
So like you'd have to go into the utility.
That was back in Windows 7 days.
Ah.
Windows 7's painful now. It used to be like awesome. It's just, but if going back to it from Windows 10, it's just
no.
I don't want to think about it.
No,
it's miserable.
It's painful. And so other than manually forcing an SSD to do what most SSDs do now, that's about it. And you really don't need it for anything. Samsung, I think, it's my personal opinion that Samsung's migration and like the Magician software, I don't think it's necessary, other than the fact that it's great that you can update firmware from it.
I mean, it's just there. There's other solutions that do the same thing. It's just more so convenient for maybe the novice user.
Yeah.
So they have that there for them, and they don't really have to research into it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a convenience. It's not a necessity. And I think most people that are going to be purchasing an Intel SSD, they're going to be kind of more adept with it. Not to say that people that purchase Samsung SSDs won't be adept, but there's a reason why companies like Samsung have that software out there, and that's so it's that marketing blurb. It's what gets your attention. If you're kind of a basic PC user and you're building out a PC with us, and so you start researching components and you see, oh man, they have this Magician software, that's going to make it real easy to make sure that I get the best out of my PC and I don't have to know the ins and outs.
It's definitely convenience.
I'm going with Samsung.
Let's see. Dima asks what my favorite anime is. ReZero, Rema's best girl.
What is 3-0?
ReZero.
What is ReZero? Let me ask you the question, because I'm a re.
It's just about an average dude named Subaru who is, yeah, I know,
Of course
right?
That's your favorite anime.
Of course his name is Subaru.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. So he's leaving a convenience store, and then all of a sudden he's just transported into another world. And he just has to find a way to survive, and every time he dies, he travels back in time. But he can remember everything that happened, so he just has to figure out.
That's an awful way to live.
It is.
Awful.
I like it. A lot of people will probably make fun of me because it's like one of those like basic animes, but
right.
I enjoy it.
Marudu M from YouTube asks, are the Western Digital and AData SSDs any good? Man, I can't believe I forgot about Western Digital. That just, to me, that feels like they still have a long way to go then to kind of break into the flash storage space, because I will always associate Western Digital.
Well, I mean, Western Digital SSDs are essentially SanDisk at this point, aren't they?
This is true.
Yeah.
And they are great. They are a great budget, and it's real easy to kind of follow and tell if you're familiar with Western Digital's drives, which are budget and which are performance, because they have the Caviar Black series M.2s, and then they have the Caviar Blue. They also have the Caviar Green, which, how can you get more power saving than you're already getting with M.2?
I don't know.
We'll have to look into that for another time, obviously, because
the blue and the green has definitely gotten more confusing lately. All started about a year ago when they kind of restructured their hard drives as far as the blue and the green do. There's definitely some overlap as far as speed.
It's not as bad as what Seagate did. They just completely relaunched like a friggin' you have like the Hawk series, you have the Skyhawk, and then you have the Exos. And I don't even remember the rest. Honestly, I just saw that they were starting to rebrand everything, and I couldn't take it seriously.
It's like super like gaming aesthetic. If you look at the images, they're gamer. That's the only way I can really describe them. Like every one of their series has like its own logo.
But Exos, 512N, 4K standards, 256 gig cache. It's enterprise. Exos. It is what it is, I suppose. So, moving on. We're going to go from components here to peripherals for a short bit. I'm sure some of you who follow kind of the tech news outlets that there is a new sheriff in town in the AR. Well, they call it mixed reality. So MR is now a new acronym in the VR with the AR. And then we'll have BR and maybe CCR at some point. Magic Leap has created AR goggles that what they do is they combine reality and the virtual world as to try and blend the lines, blur the lines in between what is real and what is not. Now, these guys have billions and billions and billions and billions of capital and support from places like Google, for example, to make sure that these guys succeed in what they're trying to do because of the opportunity that there is with mixed AR, or mixed reality.
It definitely has a leg up on the Microsoft HoloLens. It has a 50-degree field of view as opposed to the HoloLens, which is 35-degree.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something, especially in the professional space, that people are going to want to consider over the HoloLens.
Now, how much is this?
It's
mixed reality lens, Zach.
The launch price is $22.95, so it's pretty pricey, but it includes its own enclosed backpack computer, which the specs consist of an NVIDIA Tegra.
Wait,
X2.
did you say that it includes its own PC that powers it?
Yes.
Its own computer?
Yes.
So that includes the price of a computer?
Pretty much. It's It's not too bad.
No.
As long as that's the solution you need. It's somewhat limiting. I'm sure they will, down the line, split it up. But as of right now, it's a package deal.
Well, where can I get one in Ohio?
I'm not sure if it's released in Ohio. I know that right now they're doing releases in specific regions. It's not completely rolled out yet.
So like test runs.
Yeah.
Test run. Like billions of dollars in capital in this sweet product, and you're only going to release it in 6 cities. I mean, I guess, why couldn't you have just done that before you went public? Hey, this is released. I mean, granted, this could be kind of the start of it, and I'm just kind of diarrheaing from the mouth about all the specifics. But you'd figure with something like this, granted, it is primarily just aimed at developers and app makers, integrators, right? It's going to be limited at first until it kind of kicks off. And Naruto M has a very good point about SSDs, that it's not gaming unless they have RGB LED on the SSD.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing is gaming without RGB.
RGB all the things. Unicorn power.
I mean, you've seen recently, who was it? Came out with the RGB 24-pin. 24-pin. It was Lian Li. Yes, that's who it was. RGB all the things.
So this AR thing, this mixed AR goggles.
I'm interested to see how well it takes foothold, just because I can't. Maybe I just have a limited imagination, but I can't see the advantages over purely VR, just because of the fact that with VR you don't really have limitations. With AR you have to have an environment that's tailored to, or at the very least compatible with, what you're working on. Okay. So that's definitely a major limitation of the AR. But I would like to be surprised and see what people do with it.
So I couldn't just like take these goggles home and then unpack them in my kitchen and get them set up and just have like Teletubbies floating around my kitchen?
I mean, maybe. It just depends on what kind of application you're using.
I don't know what business Teletubbies have in my kitchen to begin with, but if I so desire, I would like Lala in one corner and Poe in the other.
Hey, it's for the children.
And make me chicken paprikash while you're here. Smiling baby can go home. I want nothing to do with that smiling baby. It's creepy. Even though it was a guest on last week's live stream. Maybe that's where I'm getting the creepy vibe from. There's just too much sun baby for 1 week. Too much sun baby in 1 week.
Teletubbies in general gives me the creeps. And I don't want that in VR, AR, or anything.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
Anywhere? No, yeah, I can't blame you, man. Let me paint a picture for you, though, with these AR goggles, because you said that you kind of don't understand. Imagine the ability, and granted, with all the challenges that you stated, that it has to have the perfect environment in order for it to flourish. Let's say we take all that off this table. Just throw it off, flip the table with all this stuff. Flip the table, okay, with all the stuff that would be required for AR. And imagine like you are online and you're shopping for furniture, for example, okay? And you're like, I want this big, sweet-ass couch, but I don't know if this big, sweet-ass couch is going to fit in it. You put on the goggles, and if you have a site that kind of can accommodate that kind of usage, you can see how that couch looks in your family room. You can see if it's going to fit in your family room. I mean, you can even do the same thing with like your walls. Like, dude, the amount of effort and work I had to go into just to get color swatches to see like what was going to work in my house for painting. Like, it was a colossal pain. And to be able to throw goggles on and actually see that in a representative manner that actually works, and you just kind of look around and go, yeah, red is not a good color for the bathroom. I'm going to go with yellow. Like, to be able to see that, like, I don't know if it's worth $2,200 right now, but if that becomes something that is adaptable, I don't know. We'll see. Bye, Lisa. See you later.
I'm sorry.
Don't ever apologize for who you are.
Well, maybe I just need to be like arm flailing tube man.
Why don't you just wacky waving arm flailing inflatable tube man? Wacky waving arm flailing inflatable tube man. Wacky waving arm flailing inflatable tube man. I mean, you could just do that while you talk, just kind of Ricky Bobby it. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. It's the car. It handled real good. It's good. So AR goggles are a thing now. What do we got next, Zach?
Let's see. Let's scroll down my notes. So Elon, as usual, has
Who's Elon?
Elon Musk.
Elon!
Or as some call him, Old Muskie.
You're good old Muskie. What you got rolling up your tech sleeve today?
So he's definitely a person that likes to flail his arms a lot on social media. He actually recently was saying he was planning on taking Tesla private again.
Wow.
And claims he has already secured funding to do so.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Well, dude, them's some big plans for old Elon Musk. I hope it happens.
I mean, I saw this move coming for a while just because of the fact that he has his own vision and he likes to do what he does. So clearly he found an investor that agrees with his vision, and he's done. He's done with having a public company. He's just ready to, bring it back under his control.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and the fact that he's such a philanthropist to begin with, like he has absolutely no obligation to do things to better mankind, and this man will just dump millions and billions of dollars into an idea if that means like a better quality of life or like advancing future into the direction of like making things more like Mass Effect, which I'm all about. Like, I'd love to meet a Krogan. Just saying.
I mean, if anybody's going to bring us to that point, it's probably going to be Musk. And I don't even think so much he does it just for the good of mankind, so much as he's entertained by it.
You are all my puppets, and I will send a car to space, and you will like it. It's just sitting in the back like of his office. And then all the rumors of what was actually in that trunk. That could have been a thing too.
I think definitely. I'm sure that this investor, part of what influenced them is that he was actually looking to move away from NVIDIA's PX2 hardware for his AI. Claims that his in-house development is going to be 10 times faster and it's going to be a lot cheaper. Currently, it's estimated he's going to save billions over the course of the years.
Oh, yeah. No, and Tufu makes a really good point. Hello, Tufu, by the way. Tufu! You're taking something that would be public and private because then you have nobody to answer to.
Right.
You're basically putting it in your own hands to be able to do what you feel is right and kind of take the company in the direction of your own core values, rather than having to answer to a board of people saying like, yeah, that's a great idea, but how much money are we going to make?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to look like in the far off distant future and kind of see the bigger picture of things. And so I wholeheartedly agree.
Well, it seems like he likes to swing back and forth, and right now he's swinging towards the making money part of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see what he does with the profits he's about to reap up with his AI and his cars.
Yeah, and
self-driving.
And Kevin said like Elon's a good guy and he's a trustworthy guy, but I'm not trying to say anything bad about Elon, but we don't know in this day and age. I mean, look at what happened with Bill Cosby.
Oh no, I very much like him. I don't think he's like a out to save the world type guy.
I don't think he is either. I mean, he seems like, and that's the thing, like he seems like a trustworthy guy.
Right.
But time is going to tell. We simply don't know. But I mean, at least he has a sense of humor, because if anybody was able to catch the tweet that he put out before it was ripped online or taken offline, I mean, just that was some pretty amusing stuff. I mean, so the SEC won't let me be me. To let me see, tried to shut me down on NYSE. It feels so empty without me. I mean, when was the last time you had somebody in a chair like him that was able to do stuff like that without getting fired?
Eminem, Musk and Musk.
Musk and Musk. Musk and Musk.
No, he definitely has fun.
I mean, that's a good thing. He has fun, and he's trying to change the world one invention at a time.
I think an interesting side note is even after the announcement that he was moving away from NVIDIA, didn't really affect their stocks at all.
No.
So and it looks like any investors aren't concerned about this.
Why? I mean, why would you? You have somebody that's a great innovator that is kind of breaking down walls to do things differently or things that haven't been done before. And he's like, nah, I got this. I'm going to do it myself. It didn't sound like that he really had any problems with NVIDIA, and that was the reason behind it. He was just...
No, he actually stated that he's a big fan of NVIDIA and what they do. It's just clearly it wasn't what's right for him.
I mean, and that's
his
okay.
Company.
So sometimes, you do what you got to do and expect for the best and go there. So it's simple as that, I suppose. Next up, what do we got? What do we have here? Samsung to invest in $22 billion in AI and 5G networks.
It's a lot of money.
That it is a butt ton of money, but Samsung has no problem shelving that, especially after what they garnered from the Apple lawsuits. So, I mean, where'd that money come from, Samsung? I wonder. Thanks, Tim Cook.
All the big companies are always suing each other, it seems like.
I know, and it's crazy. Like everyone's so sue happy, but still, maybe if Samsung's going to take that sue happy money and do something good with it, like expand a brand new 5G network out of it, like great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you have the new Samsung Galaxy Tab that's coming out, right? Or the Samsung Galaxy Note 9.
Right.
That is not on a 5G network, and that's not going to have any of Samsung's implemented AI. So.
Yeah.
That's just kind of weird timing, don't you think?
A little bit, but
Granted, it's not going to happen right away. But
it's a long-term goal. So, I mean, coupled what you're saying about the not having 5G, coupled with the fact that we're just now hearing about this, this is going to be some years off. We're not going to see instant results in this investment. It's definitely going to be a lot of R&D up front.
Huge investment, and it's going to create tons of jobs, 40,000, to be exact, according to the reports. And this is going to build an entire infrastructure, an ecosystem. So an AI ecosystem, I mean, when I first read this, I'm like, Watch Dogs is happening. This is going to be Watch Dogs. If put into the wrong hands, or the right hands, depending on your perspective.
I mean, and more on their AI, it's not just going to be limited to just their current product lineup. They're also looking to move into automotive, similar to the moves that both AMD and NVIDIA are making.
You didn't mention Apple.
Of course, Apple.
Maybe it's because there's nothing to mention. It's just as simple as that.
No, that was my bad.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying, like, there's a reason for that. You didn't mention Apple because Apple is just not an associative product.
I mean, the way Apple creates products, I'm honestly not interested.
Not interested. Could you just imagine that kind of sales pitch on the phone call? Hello, we're Apple, and we're automotive. Not
as terrible as that sounds, but I mean, you see the way they handle their phones. I don't want to see how they handle cars.
It's not, and if they have to simplify the driving process any more than like current standards, other than things that are reasonable, probably shouldn't drive a car.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Because that's kind of what Apple's known for, right? Is just taking products and making them easier to use. Self-driving is one thing. That is a convenience. Mm-hmm. That's not something that's to be a requirement.
Right.
Right? No one's going to lean on that.
At least not anytime soon. Maybe 100 years from now, but who knows?
100 years? Wow. I mean, but you got to think of it this way, though, man. Samsung driving a car, I mean, I'm not trying to just, I mean, I have a Galaxy, right? It's a thing. I would probably give their car a test ride. I'm not making any commitment to your Samsung, all right? So let's pump the brakes a bit. But I'll try it. And if it makes driving easier in terms of just integration, like I've always wanted to see, I don't know if it was Total Recall that did it, but the HUD screen that was kind of right above your field of view in a car when you're driving, that would integrate, so then you didn't have to like pay attention to your phone or the screen or anything. There's a few models of cars that do it, and admittedly, I don't remember which one it is because I'm not a huge car guy.
I think some of the BMWs do it.
Maybe. Some of the BMWs have a HUD right there on the windshield, so if somebody calls you, look, you see it, you're not taking your eyes off of your field of vision that is immediate.
I mean, it's definitely helpful because you can't stop people from doing what they do. They're going to access their phones, so the best you could do is make features that, make it less dangerous.
Yeah, Kevin Toft has a good point. Have I ever driven in California? No, I've been driven in California, and that was a nightmare.
I've heard stories of California.
To be driven around in California in certain areas, yeah, I was extremely relieved to have Ubers do that for me, but in no way, shape, or form would I have been okay with taking a rental car. I've driven in New York.
Yeah.
I can't say, I don't know what the polar differences are between New York and California. I just know both traffic instances are just god-awful. And, I guess if I've driven in New York, I could probably drive in California, but that doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah. Kevin says we'd be begging for self-driving cars if we lived there, and I can agree with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially, like, I've heard stories of it taking, like, 2 hours for, like a 30-mile drive, just based on the traffic alone.
Yeah,
not to mention the accident rates in California, man.
Yeah. I'm very much a car person, I mean, as we discussed earlier in the stream, and I'm not a fan of self-driving cars for personal use, but I appreciate the technology.
Why is that?
But it's like,
why?
Why do I appreciate the technology?
Well, both. Like, why do you, I know it's? I mean, I understand that you appreciate the technology in a certain way, but why aren't you interested in self-driving cars?
It's the visceral feeling that you get when you're driving. It's just man stuff,
It's man things. Man, don't mansplain it. You don't want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
upset anybody. I mean, to be fair, statistically, isn't it women are superior drivers to men?
Especially in parking. I've seen that there's actually been studies into that. They park a lot better. And
mean,
if they screw up their parking, they'll pull out and do it again.
Guys
Whereas men just...
It's fine. Is it in the lines? Yep, I'm good. Men will also, I think, will be more likely to double park cars because they're like, I don't want to get a scratch. And women will just go, well, no, I'm just going to park far out, away from everybody, but I'm going to stay within the lines because, you know, I'm not a jerk with a huge ego.
But back to what we were talking about, the self-driving cars is, while I may not personally like it, there's people out there that, you know, they don't necessarily want to drive around. And it's good to have this technology because it takes more people off the road that necessarily don't pay attention.
I'm just laughing because the first comment I saw from Tupu was, I drove in DC once and I ended up on the other side of the road. How does that work? How do you end up, is it because it's just the navigation is just terrible? Or were you just like so upset at the driving in DC you just rage drove onto the other side of the, damn you, Trump! Ah!
Just take as many bad drivers with him as he can, I suppose.
Make DC roads great again! Wow. Wow.
Wow.
And Tufu also said that the newer Corvettes have that sweet HUD style.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
It's definitely something a lot of the car manufacturers are picking up on. And
yeah.
I've seen prototypes from just about everybody at this point with the, you know, the HUDs up on your windshield.
I just want to know at one point, will we ever in this generation step back and see vehicles and go, wow, they look just like the cars from like the future movies? Like any movie that ever portrayed the future.
Maybe.
Because I guess things just progress at such a slow pace. It just happens so slowly you don't recognize, kind of like aging to a degree.
Well, so far I've noticed my perspective on things is I'm just like, wow, that's nothing like what the movie said it was going to be like. And I think it's always interesting. The future's almost never what you think it's going to be like.
Mutation 666 made a good point. If you can self-drive to work, and then when you're done, you drive your Subaru for fun.
That is very true. Just have the self-driving car for my beater,
right,
and then the Subaru for fun.
Right, and then just think about the companies that are going to put, like, they will put strict rules in place. Like, if you are going to be employed by us, you have to be safe by us. So here's a car provided by the company, and you're like, oh, sweet, it's Samsung. But you're not driving it ever. It drives you.
That would be interesting to see. And I think we could see something like that, you know, maybe 20 years from now. That'll be the new standard.
I suppose. There will be, and then at that point in time, we'll all be 70 years old. It's self-driving cars will be kind of thing, and I'll be the one in the rocking chair. There was a time when men drove their own cars.
Oh, that's definitely going to be me.
Right, and then there'll be me in the background. Yeah, well, there was a time when men fought with swords. And it's like, that was in books, Grandpa.
I'm going to be clinging to my rusty, non-self-driving car. Just, them you dang youngins.
Just still making the Subaru sputters, though, at every turn. Like, Zack just sitting there, like, slamming that pedal, like, oh, the 6 gears slipping again. Well, why don't you go get it fixed, Grandpa Fanelly? They don't make it like this anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and people will resist it, Kevin. You're right, but I mean, time is coming soon that self-driving cars will take over. And then what's next? It's self-talking cell phones?
Actually, funny story. Google's working on that right now.
Oh.
Have you seen their assistant that calls people up and make appointments for you?
However, that was ousted.
Was it?
Yes, it was ousted. That those were all pre-recordings. Those were not legit demonstrations of their AI.
See, I had a feeling. I read an article immediately afterwards where someone was pointing out it's like none of the businesses stated their name, you know, just stuff that didn't occur to me, but it's like when I stop and think about it, it's like,
right,
you're right.
This is, I mean, the convenience factors there. Brooke just made a good point that she hates making appointments. I hate anything that has to do with making or breaking or keeping appointments.
You know, I'm overdue for a dental appointment by about 3 months, same as eyes, 3 months.
Well, Google will make it for you, and that just so happens to be the exact demonstration they made. Or no, it was a hair salon. Yeah. Right? Yes, hi. Can I get inside this salon in approximately in this date? And they were just like, yeah, sure. I have no idea that you're a spoken AI. We'll do this for you, sir. Okay, great. Thanks. Bye.
See, Mutation 666 says, wonder how long it will take for self-driving cars to be able to handle trailering cars behind them for track events. Well,
they're going to need a self-driving trailer.
I think self-driving in semis is going to progress a lot faster just because of the fact that there's money there.
Really?
Like, do you have any idea how much a UPS truck driver makes?
No, please tell me.
About 80 grand a year. So if that's something that they can develop as self-driving semi, it's a lot of money. So,
save them a lot of money. Think of per
Exactly.
driver. And you know this why, Zach?
I used to work at UPS for 2 years.
Oh, well, look at this. Insider information.
Yeah.
Insider.
It's a crazy experience, that's for sure.
Oh. But, well, Tufu is a huge fan of self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Mercedes, give them the car keys. Drunker than normal. I mean, yeah, that's a bad time. That is a bad time. And I'm sure a time will come where the courts are like, look, man, this is your third DUI. You can't handle it. So you're getting a court-ordered self-driving car if you want to drive anywhere. And the cities are going to find ways to make money on it because the only way you will be able to travel, I mean, other than like Uber, so I guess you won't be confined to it. But if it's like, if you want your own independence and to save kind of the humility of not being able to drive when you're, I don't know, 35 years old for your fourth DUI or whatever, here's a self-driving car and pay these fines.
That's definitely an interesting perspective to have, and that's nothing that's occurred to me before. But you're probably right.
Well, you got to think about it. The government in cities have to make their money in their own ways anyway, and that's kind of where this comes from, I guess. You got to profit from it somehow. So somehow we went from Samsung's AI back to the self-driving cars, and it has just entirely manipulated the conversation. So onward!
Forward march.
We must go forward before you can go backward.
Aye, we do.
And if we don't, we'll get stuck in a trench. And I guess that's where the self-driving cars come in handy because they can avoid said trenches. Uber and Lyft are going to buy fleets of self-driving cars. All cabs will change over. Yes. And cab companies will probably go bankrupt unless they adapt.
Cab companies are already suffering.
I know.
They're on their way out.
Uber is the next Skynet of driving. They own everything.
Especially in places like New York City where they're heavily regulated and Uber and Lyft aren't. They're getting crushed.
Ouch. So, to kind of break up these articles and these topics that we're discussing for you today, we have AVA News, otherwise known as AVA News. Available to you now for pre-order is the Threadripper 2 workstations. We do have those posted on our website. Of course, you can click on the banner if that's easier for you. If you don't want to go through the trouble. Right now, we have the 2990WX processors ready to rip. I'm sorry, ready to thread rip.
You just had to.
I did. Or maybe you could do like the bro man too, because of like the metal insignia. You're like, bro, like,
Dude.
gonna rip yourself some threads at these workstations, bro. Build yourself some real killer machines, because that's what we do here at AVADirect. Zach works on them. He can attest to it. It's not just me.
Request the craziest stuff you can think of. I'm up for the challenge.
Yes, and even though he may like curse and rue the day that he's got to build that system, like when it's all said and done, it's just like when you got to do anything that's a lot of work and intricate.
Yeah.
Like you hate it while you're doing it because it's stressful, but it's a good stress.
It's always worthwhile, and I don't believe in pushing out something I'm not proud of. So.
This is true. There's been many times that my own special projects have been delayed for the sake of Zack caring about the quality of his work. And I mean, I guess all I can say, that's kind of what like we stand for, and we have other Zacks in production too that are the same way. And of course, we'll always try to get your systems out as soon as possible, but at the end of the day, art can't be rushed.
For sure.
No. So quality over quantity. And of course, we also have our back to school sale. You can get a combined total of up to $350 off on our select systems. And I mean, you got to prepare for school in a multitude of ways. So why not get yourself something neat to help you type up all of those pre-made resumes, for one thing. Don't use Microsoft Word. Do it from scratch. Come on. We're a creative race. Use your noggin. You're going to need a PC to do that. Don't use a tablet. That's awful.
Oh, goodness. Working on a tablet, no.
No. 10% off on select items as well, of course, for our back-to-school special. That is going to go till the end of time. Back to school special to the end of time. No, until you're all back in school. We have the dates posted on our site, so just check the banners for all that information and you're good to go. We are also still working on the EVGA anniversary system. We do offer that to build on our site. EVGA is giving that away. That's still happening. We've already built
a beautiful system.
Fantastic system. Zach actually worked on that system too.
Yeah, I did.
Every project system that we have, every special system passes through this man right here.
Yep.
He's a special kind of system builder.
I don't necessarily build everything, but I'm always there for feedback, making sure everything's going as it should.
And no, you can't have him. He's ours.
I like it here.
I don't wish to go.
No, you can't take me away.
You can't take my breath away.
Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun.
Don't take my breath away. We also have a brand new AMD Gaming Bundle. Now this is a bundle that has a combined total of sweet games valued at $145.
Wow.
Dollars. Not doll hairs. Dollars.
Sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
It's a sweet. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a sweet deal there, Wade. We need to have an AI commercial from AVADirect, like the Olive Garden one. Oh, that's amazing. We need to do this.
All right,
Kevin, that's a brilliant idea. An AI AVA commercial. It just reads through like all of the text, watches all of our live streams, all of our review videos, and boom, commercial out of it. What would that even be like?
I don't know.
Like, yes, sir, I have wire managed your sweet hard drives. Yes, the tower case of fans performs at exactly 100 megabytes. Great for the benchmarkings.
So what if I am?
I mean, just let him be him so he can be him.
You know, you need to make that like the Intel logo that says dead inside.
Dead inside? What would my badge be? Like imploding inside? This is what I'm curious about.
I don't know.
I mean, you do kind of look a little under the weather.
I'd never sleep.
Tufu has "If I Could Turn Back Time" stuck in his head. You're very welcome, Tufu. Let me know if there's anything else that I can serenade to you to get stuck in your head. Like, one day love will find you. Oh, that's stuck in your head now.
All right.
Go for it. So in this gaming bundle, back to the gaming bundle. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean to let you down. I had things to talk about. And I just needed to get it off my chest. Oh, what is this surprise that I just sat upon? Oh, right. As I'm sure you've all noticed, we have these sweet new thermal take chairs, gaming chairs for our live streams. If I get out of the way, you can see it.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty cool.
In case you're wondering, Zack has the same.
Indeed, I do.
And we have Thermal Take to thank for it, and we also have Shannon to thank for it, for getting these chairs for us. So thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Thermal Take. We appreciate it. So back to the gaming bundle before I decided to get real creepy with you. We have Strange Brigade, which is a $49.99 title. We have Star Control Oranges, which is a $34.99 title. And my personal favorite, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That is a $59.99 bundle. And that is, in my opinion, that alone is worth the bundle. Hands down.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're already looking at getting the product, these bundles are just, they're awesome.
Huge.
It's like, oh, I was going to get that anyways. It's
huge. Like, these bundles are going to be available until 12/31 of 2018. I felt obligated to mention 2018 for obvious reasons. Even though I wish that this could last all the way until 2019. I mean, by that time, we're going to have, like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Space Station is going to be out by then.
Hey, you know what? I would be interested in that. I got burned out on Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed Space Station, I'm game.
Yes, the AVA Gaming Bundle just does have extra Italy. It's got extra Taiwan, actually.
Has extra everything.
With the side of Asia.
Has extra medieval Britain.
Sean put, hi, my name is... Ah! Probably screaming. Friend one? Friend one. Let's play PUBG. Yes. So I think we need to do this. Hello, I'm Sales Inside.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know what to make of this, but I like it. You're you're talking to me in all the wrong tones, though. Or is it the right tones? Maybe. So other than the AVA Gaming Bundle having extra Italy, which it definitely does, these are going to apply to any AMD RX series and Vega series graphics cards. So these are AMD specific titles bundled with AMD specific hardware. So if you want that sweet Odyssey, you gotta get that sweet Vega. Gotta get that sweet Vega.
Speaking of games, on to our next topic.
Ta-da!
Fallout 76, we have some more news. So, two big developments. One is that it will be exclusively available on Bethesda.net for PC.
What?
Yeah. I'm actually not too surprised by this move because it's I feel like they're treating it like an MMO almost. So
they're treating it like a mo.
Yeah, it was natural.
Oh no.
And let's see. The other is that the beta is actually going to be the full game and the progress will carry over. So that's another thing that surprised me. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
But why call it a beta then if it's the full game? Are they just like, are they testing the servers, you think?
I mean, this way you expect the Bethesda bugs? Maybe.
It's like, we're going to warm you up to these new kind of bugs. The bugs that you had before were not buggy enough.
This 15-year-old engine, we did terrible things to it. Expect lots of explosions.
This 15-year-old engine. You see this 15-year-old engine? You can fit lots of bugs in this 15-year-old engine.
It was never meant for multiplayer. You know, I was watching some interviews on it, and it's amazing. They had to bring in another team to help them make it compatible with multiplayer. And I guess there's like, their engine was designed with a variable, the player. And it was a huge obstacle for them because now you have multiple players. So a lot of work, and there's almost definitely going to be bugs. So I'm interested to see what happens in the beta.
Bugs like rad scorpions?
No, bugs like your body stretching across the map, or, you know, typical Bethesda things.
Walking up to a wheelbarrow and having it carrying you away like a magic carpet just to drop you to your death. Yeah.
We joke about all these bugs, but I really do love Bethesda games, and I'm looking forward to this. I hope I get in the beta.
I mean, I already have a pre-ordered copy for myself.
Yeah.
I have a pre-ordered copy for my wife. She's not so crazy about the fact that it's forcing you to play online because she just doesn't care for the whole multiplayer aspect of things so much. And I think it's the human element because like you have so many jerks out there and weird people online that will ruin an experience for you at the snap of a finger just because that's what they live for. I mean, if you've played PUBG and sat in the lobby, you know.
PUBG is one of the worst examples, though, for sure, what you hear in the lobby, because it attracts everybody from all walks of life. Who knows what we'll see in Fallout, though, because it's definitely, while the audience has grown, it's more niche. So I'll be interested to see what the community's like.
It is niche, and Brooke said that she's the person that trolls in the lobby. No, but I mean, there are weird things, Brooke. That have you played PUBG yet? Did you ever get around to trying PUBG? Yeah. Okay. Well, we were in the lobby last night, and we played the new event where it's just nothing but Molotovs and grenades.
Yeah.
And
that was ridiculous.
Some guy on our teammate was equating the fact that somebody was saying some pretty lewd things to the fact that he drank milk. Oh, you're talking a lot of weird stuff, man. You drink milk. You must drink milk.
Drinkers.
Yeah. Yeah. He drinks milk. And then that same guy flew out of the circle that was clearly indicated on the map as being the circle that you go to. And if you're outside of the circle, you die slowly. He went right outside of the circle. My response was, well, I guess he drank too much milk.
Brooke says, seriously, every creepy guy on TV drinks a glass of milk without cookies. For sure.
Now, are you saying that they're creepy because they drink milk without cookies? Or like, that's where you can pick apart the weirdo?
It's one of the bullet points. One of the check marks.
And then let's go to the creepy farm. It's just guys all drinking different kinds of milk in tandem. Strawberry, chocolate, white, banana. That's like to go completely off base here, that'd be like a really good business opportunity that you don't make milkshakes, you make flavored milks. I'll come and eat a sandwich and have some pine milk.
What flavor of milk is the Fallout community going to be?
Radiation. Radiated milk, and it would glow green.
I like it.
Yeah, and it would taste like mint.
That sounds terrible.
You can't have it taste like anything else, because anything that would be relative to it to taste like it would not be very appetizing. You know what I mean? Like, here, this milk tastes like failure, and your entire town is blown to smithereens. Cool. I want some mo. Give me some mo. Okay. So, onward. Fortnite has an Android code leak that indicates that the APKs will only support the Galaxy S9 and Galaxy Tab.
I was actually really surprised to see some documented proof of this.
Gee, Fortnite, is it because you're lazy, or is it because you need to start somewhere? What is it?
Did Samsung toss them a lot of money?
Oh, there's the catch. Because PUBG released on all Android platforms because PUBG is for everyone.
Well, as the rumor goes, apparently it's going to be exclusive for a month.
Oh.
That's still pretty crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that changes before it goes official.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, look at this. Mutation 666 just fired back to go back on the SSD talk. That Samsung just announced that it's beginning mass production on its first QLC-based memory, VNAND. So we're gonna see then.
Nice.
This is I like how Intel was first to the door with it. Like, hey, look what we're doing. We did a thing in less than 20 cents per gig. Enjoy it. Samsung's like, wait, we're doing that. We're doing that too. Intel, we're there.
That's how it always goes with technology, though. It's every company is usually within a few months of each other, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Tufu, you're not wrong. Tufu wants Brooke in front of the camera so we can hear her better, and that was actually something that we wanted to consider. Yeah. You know, we have these lovely ladies behind the scenes that do so much for us to make sure that the live stream functions well. Absolutely. And that things are working, and that we have great sound. And sometimes they do have very valuable things to add to a discussion. I talk to them frequently, and they make great points just like anybody else in the tech industry. So we think it's about time that you get to know them too.
Yeah, you may be seeing more of them soon.
Yes, and Brooke is right. Her great points are related to milk. So that means
our resident milk expert.
So that means Brooke is the milk spurt of AVADirect, apparently, and she will likely have many talking points based on milk. The resident milk spurt. Wow, that sounds awful. My God.
This train is just so off the rails. I think it's taken flight.
This train filled with milk has gone clearly off the rails. This is awful. So, I wish I could say more about that Fortnite leak, but I'd rather take a leak on Fortnite, so we're done with it.
Moving on, H1Z1 finally exits beta. So it's been in alpha since 2015, and I guess the recent competition has finally driven them to move forward with the project.
And you know what? Maybe in light of that, Zach, you and I will do some game streaming with the finished H1Z1.
I've never actually played it, so now playing a finished product?
Me neither. Yeah. So you know what? All the more reason to live stream it. You have essentially Zach and I will live stream H1Z1, complete noobs, probably lose horribly and die a bunch of times.
There will be screaming.
Internal screaming.
And external.
Lots of that. and more dying. But I mean, I'd be interested to give it a shot. Why not? But do you feel it's too little too late? Do you think maybe they were on the struggle bus for far too long, and the struggle bus just ran into a giant boulder named PUBG?
It might be too late for PC, but apparently it's actually doing fairly well on PS4, which might then in turn carry back to PC's popularity. So we'll just have to see. And it's kind of sad that now, while we're talking about betas dragging on and on, it's kind of sad that we're seeing this a lot in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Where games will be in beta for 5 years, and maybe they'll never even come out of beta. I mean, Star Citizen, big example right there.
Don't bring up anything Christopher Roberts has done recently. It just makes me angry, sad, and depressed. And now I feel like I'm dying inside. I need the name tag.
Yeah, I gave up on Star Citizen, and I regret investing any sort of money into it.
I mean, I didn't invest a penny until it was a final product and until they announced a single-player campaign, and they did. And then they brought in the godfather of Wing Commander, in my opinion.
Yeah. I thought at the very least the single player would be done by now, and that's the part that I wanted.
I can't even remember when Mark Hamill finished shooting or even started.
I don't even know.
But I just wish they would have gone on with it already.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel, in closing to H1Z1, do you think that PUBG will suffer a similar fate? I know that they're no longer in beta. They got a finished release. But I feel like what they did, again, to talk about what I said earlier, they have the fixed PUBG roadmap now.
I did see that, and I appreciate that they're acknowledging stuff is broken because, in my opinion, the worst thing that any company, not just gaming companies, is ignore a massively accepted problem. Like if 80% of your audience says something's a problem, it's a problem. Your job's to cater to the audience.
Right.
So it really annoys me when I see that kind of stuff ignored. So I think they're moving in the right direction. They've acknowledged it, so clearly they intend to fix it.
So me, like a big derp, just remembered that we had a Facebook feed. So there's that. And the first thing I catch is from Jimmy saying #NukaMilk.
I like it.
Yeah, we need to like AVA NukaMilk. Like we need to do that, like almost immediately. That's got to happen. So in closing, last gaming topic we have for this evening, Gamers and Geeks, is Blizzard says that they are working on multiple Diablo projects, which this is such excite for me, especially because Diablo 3 came out. Casey and I stayed up until like 2:30 in the morning for the PST release because it was Pacific time, just for servers to be dead. That was a thing. But the next day, like we nonstop, we played Diablo 3 until the campaign was done. We loved every second of it, and then that was that. So if they're working on more projects, more power to them.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested to see what they do. I've never actually dove into Diablo 3.
Yeah. What? Wait, what?
I know, right?
What? If I would have known that, you wouldn't even be here. I would be like, no. Instead of being on the live stream, you need to go play Diablo 3. You would thank me. You'd be like, Joe, you were right. It was not my time. I am now more educated in the ways of Diablo.
I do need to learn. Well, perhaps we'll see what these new projects are and we can dive in.
That would be really sweet.
We can even stream some of that too.
I mean, we could stream Diablo 3 for your entertainment. Let us know. Let us know if you guys, what do you want us to see? Do you want Error 37? Stop it, Joe! No! Flashbacks! Blizzard flashbacks! 2:30 in the morning. I haven't slept. Blizzard. Wow. Sorry for having a stroke there. That was
So, one of the speculations is that they're actually developing for the Switch, which is funny because they earlier denied that there was any development for the Switch after posting a Diablo Nightlight with a Switch on it.
Oh, really? What was their response to that?
There was just no. It's just a talking piece.
Right.
I find that hard to believe.
A giant bulbous demon on a light switch, and it's a talking piece. Yeah. I got one from my 6-month-old's room. It's great to talk to her about it. Like, see these demons? They control the hue of your lights. His name's Freddy.
Oh no, not Fred.
Freddy Light, mate. Freddy Light. Freddy Light. Say nighty night. So that's everything we got.
Yep.
We got through the gaming news, and it looks like it is just in time, folks. So once again, I want to take time out of my portion of the stream to say thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for continuing to join us. We will be on same time next week.
Yep.
And if you have any ideas for topics, if you have any ideas for discussions you want to have, of course, we always really enjoy your comments.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks up the topics we have here. So I want to say that I really appreciate your contribution to the topics.
I do too. It makes it a lot more organic.
Yeah, it does.
More enjoyable.
And I never know what you guys are going to say. You know, I look down and I see Jimmy saying Nuka Milk. You can't script that into anything.
I mean,
Other than the fact that these live streams aren't scripted whatsoever, other than the notes we have for our topics, Nuka Milk.
probably throw some Nuka Milk together in Photoshop or something.
I kind of really feel like that I need to provide some sort of product for the Nuka Milk. And to kind of tap back on what Tufu said, yeah, I'm super excited about the Diablo projects, dude. It's been
What?
6 years? Now I gotta look. When did Diablo
Longer
3
than
come
that.
out?
Isn't
Diablo 3 release. When did the Diablo 3 game?
I want to say it was. Oh, it was 2012.
2012.
Okay.
Wow.
For some reason, I thought it was 2010.
Now, where's the PvP they promised? Right, Brooke? Okay, you're gonna trigger me. This is not a good time. We're ending the live stream now.
Calm down. It's one of their
No.
multiple projects.
Nope. Gotta go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending this time with us on our live stream. Tune in next week for more news, for more updates on our products. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're going to bring you a lot more news on Killer Machines. Once again, my name is Josef.
And I'm Zack.
See you guys next week.
Peace.